Hey guys, welcome to the first video of my channel. Let's solve reverse linked list LeetCode 206. We are given the head of a singly linked list and we have to reverse the list and return the reversed list. As an example, we're given this linked list 1 points to 2, 3, 4, and 5. And what we have to do is to just reverse the direction of these arrows and return the new head, that is 5 points to 4, 3, 2, and 1. And by head, we don't only mean first node, because in linked list, the node also comes with a pointer to the next. So the next node, which would also come with a pointer to the next, and basically the whole linked list. And please don't be confused by this notation. It is not converting it into a list or something. It is just a LeetCode's way of writing that out in a compact way. There are two ways to solve this problem. There's an iterative way and a recursive way. And for this solution, we'll be doing it in an iterative way because it is by far the most optimal one for this solution. And we'll cover it in the complexity analysis later on in the video. Let's take this example to develop the approach to solve this problem. We're basically going to use two pointers approach for this. We'll take a cur pointer for our current node and a prev pointer for our previous node. Let's initialize our cur pointer to the head of a linked list that is over here, and our prev pointer, which would be the previous to the cur, and none for now. Next, what we have to do is to just reverse these arrows and point our cur to the previous node. But wait, we were using singly linked list, so that means we can only have one direction, and that would break our this direction. That means we have lost our connection to the next node and the rest of the linked list. So for that, we would just remove it for now. And we have to save the next value before reversing the link. So we will take another pointer, that is our next pointer, which would be equal to cur.next, and that would store our next value before reversing the link. So for this one, our cur.next would be 1.next, and we would take it as 2. And then for next step would be reversing the link. Okay, so we would reverse the link and point our cur to the previous one. This would break this link, but we have already saved our next value. Okay, so for now, our linked list is this one. That is, we have got new linked list, which would be like 1 points to none. And then we would just move our previous pointer to our cur pointer and our cur pointer to the next one, that is, which was 2. Now just repeat those steps. We have to save our next value, and our cur.next would be 3. So we would just save 3 over here. Our next would be 3. We would reverse the link, and our cur, that is 2, would now point to prev, which was 1. And our linked list has now become 2 points to 1, like this. And our prev would now be at cur location over here, and our cur would be at the next. Now again, save the next value, that is cur.next. 3.next would be 4, so we would change it to 4. Our next is 4 now, and we would reverse the link. Our cur would now point to prev, which was 2, and our linked list has now become 3 points to 2. And our prev would move to cur over here, and our cur would now move to next, which was 4. Now for the next iteration, save next value, cur 4.next would be 5. So we would change our next to 5 and just reverse the link. Our cur would now point to prev, and our linked list has now become 4 points to 3. Next, move our prev pointer to our cur pointer, that is over here, and our cur to the next, that is 5. For the next iteration, we'll save our next value, and our cur.next, that is 5.next, would be none. So we'll update our next from 5 to none. Next, we would reverse the link, and our cur would now point to prev, that is 5 would point to 4, and our linked list has now become 5 points to 4. In the third step, we would move prev, that is our prev would now be at the current location, that is over here, and our cur would move to the next, that is none. And for the next iteration, our cur is at none, so our loop, that is while cur, would now evaluate to false. So it will come out of the loop and return previous, that is 5, which is the new head. So it would return 5, points to 4, points to 3, 2, and 1. Now let's jump into the code editor and write out the code for it. We start by initializing our prev and cur pointer. We initialized our prev to none and cur to head. Next, we run a while loop while cur exists, means while cur is not none. First, we save our next value, that is next equals to cur.next, and then we just reverse the link. So cur.next equals prev, and next we just move prev ahead, like prev equals cur, and then move cur forward. Cur equals next. So at the end, we just return prev. If you still haven't understood how this code works, let's just dry run this code line by line, or you can just skip to the submission and complexity analysis part. Let's take this short example. We start by initializing prev and cur. So prev would be at none and cur would be at head. Next, we would check if cur exists, and yes, it is. Then we would store our next value, that is next equals to cur.next. So cur.next would be 2. So we would save it as next equals 2. Then we would just reverse the direction and cur.next would be equal to prev. So cur.next would be prev. It would break this link, and our linked list has now become 1 points to none. Then we would just move prev forward, and prev would now be equal to cur, and cur would then be equal to next. So in the next iteration, we'll again check while cur exists. Yes, it is not none. We will save our next pointer, which would be cur.next. So cur.next is none. So it would become none. And then we would just reverse the link, that is cur.next would now be prev, and our linked list has now become 2 points to 1. And then we would just move prev ahead, that is prev would now be at cur over here, and cur would be at next, that is none. Then we'll again go to the while loop and check while cur exists, and this would evaluate to false because cur is now none and it doesn't exist. So we would come out of the loop and just return prev. So prev is now here, that is 2. So this would be the linked list we would be returning, that is 2 points to 1. Now let's just submit this. And this works. So the time complexity of this code is big of n because we're using a loop in it. And the space complexity would be linear, that is big O of 1 because we're just using 3 pointers in it. If you still have any query, please write out in the comments, and if you found this helpful, please like, share, and subscribe to my channel. See you in the next video.